Well, for FTX customers, it's going to feel like more insult to injury as Sam Bankman-Fried is going to start yucking it up pretty soon today at the New York Times Deal Book event. The disgraced founder of FTX Exchange has already made a lot of waves and headlines as he is now a regular chatterbox. Now, sadly, the more he talks, the more people just simply want to throw up. Joining me now, crypto law founder John DEATON. And John, Sam Bankman-Fried, he continues to suck all the oxygen out of the room. He keeps casting this dark shadow over the entire crypto world. So my question is why isn't he doing the perp walk yet? Really, it's just, you think of all these sort of things and, I just don't recall Bernie Madoff, making rounds like this. And again, from a journalistic point of view, you probably want to interview these folks, but other people are wondering, really, billions are missing. Why is this guy walking around?
You brought up Bernie Madoff. He was arrested the day after, he confessed.
Right.
Sam Bankman-Fried has confessed in his Twitter feed and everything else. Charles, I don't know, but there's two things you can do it. What I would do is you arrest now. There's enough information under 18 U.S.C. 1343. That's the wire fraud statute. There's enough for the fraud statute. He went around looking like crypto savior, pretending to be crypto savior, and he goes to BlockFi and says, I'll give you this loan, but you have to deposit your client money in my FTX account. And then, of course, he steals that money to run his Ponzi hedge fund. So if I were in charge, I'd have had him arrested, introduce him to a 3x5 cell, remind him of what Russ Ulbricht, who did much less with Silk Road, is serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
I'm hearing more and more about that. People are really it's a story we all kind of forgot about. And I want to bring you back and talk more specifically about that. But there's just so many headlines. This interview with Sam Bankman-Fried, if you had a chance to ask him any questions right now, what do you want to hear? What hasn't he blurted out yet that we need to know?
Great question. The first thing, I get him to agree that the user agreement specified that the funds were client-only funds. And so he then commandeered those funds illegally and then sent them to Alameda. That needs to be brought up. Second, he had a back door. That back door allowed him to conceal the transfers from FTX to Alameda. But he claims, Charles, that he doesn't know how to code.
Yeah.
So who did it? Who did it? He needed to ask those questions.
I'm not an architect or no construction, but I know how to open a door. So he didn't have to code it, right? You see the schematic of how this company was built. It looks like it was built from day one to pull off these kind of thefts. So Janet Yellen speaking today, she doesn't like crypto. You know that. Right. This is a great excuse for regulators to come down hard on it. On top of that, I saw this tweet with Mr. Well. And it really caught my attention. 8 Congress people tried to stop the SEC's inquiry into FTX back in March. 5 of 8 received donations from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. It bothers me. I've interviewed some of these folks, and I've always thought they were on the side of crypto investors. And with all these millions floating around, I don't know what to think anymore.
Well, it's a great question, but let's put this in context. I've read that letter, Charles. It doesn't mention FTX.
Okay.
And what was happening is that you had Gary Gensler had sent hundreds of voluntary requests for information. When the crypto companies gave information, they then got an investigative subpoena. And then after that, they got sued like Ripple, like Library, like Dragon Chain, take BlockFi. Nothing's happened, yet he cost them $100 million. They haven't done any registration. And guess what, Charles? The SEC is the second largest creditor in the BlockFi bankruptcy.
That's amazing.
How about that?
That's absolutely amazing.
And as far as Janet Yellen, she says that this is a Lehman-like situation for crypto. Charles, the only reason or way that it'll be like Lehman if no one goes to jail. That's the only way. This is not a Lehman moment in crypto. This is a Bernie Madoff moment in crypto. This is a Theranos moment in crypto. That's what this is. So let's make the right comparisons.
Great stuff, John.
Appreciate it, John.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, coming up, my takeaway on the not-so-invisible hand of special interests in government. They get to dictate who makes money, who doesn't, and it's getting worse. We'll be right back.
What is progress?